Did you say, I'm not going to Thanksgiving dinner? I don't want to talk to those people. Hi, I'm Joniel Conley, and I am your Chief Hot Mess Officer because you are not a hot mess, you're in a hot mess, and I can help you get out of it. Well, last fall, post-election, there was a lot of commotion and a lot of drama, and people were boycotting dinners with their family. And my colleague and I, Bonnie Nussbaum, were hearing in our coaching practice people saying, I'm not going there, I'm not going to. So while Bonnie and I differ in our political views and our world views and some other things, we both care very deeply about each other. And so common ground conversations were formed. So you're going to hear our second episode of the Common Ground Conversation. And we talk about things like the power of language and take the war out of our words and a whole bunch of stuff. So let's get the episode started, but stick around to the end and I'll come back and we'll chat then.
Welcome to Common Ground Conversations, where we explore the art of navigating conflict with grace, empathy, and intention. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, a clinical psychologist and holistic coach, and I'm joined by my incredible co-host here, Dr. Joniel Conley, who's a RN, seasoned leadership consultant, and transformational coach. Together, we bring over 80 years of experience in helping people thrive through life's toughest moments. This series that we're doing, Common Ground Conversations, is all about empowering you with practical tools and strategies to handle conflict in a way that not only resolves issues, but strengthens relationships. Let's face it, conversations right now are really complicated and difficult, and sometimes even pretty painful. But when you have confidence that you can communicate clearly, calmly, and compassionately, no matter what the situation, that's exactly what we're going to help you do. In this series, we're going to do some deep diving into effective communication strategies for de-escalating circumstances, tools for active listening and speaking with empathy, how to listen to truly hear as opposed to listening to respond, techniques for addressing disagreements without triggering defensiveness, more in yourself and the other person, real-life examples and actionable tips for navigating tough conversations. So whether it's a tricky conversation with family, a workplace conflict, or even a misunderstanding with a total stranger, we'll guide you to finding some common ground that can then help you heal and move forward. Our goal is to help you build connection, foster understanding, and approach every conversation with calmness, clarity, and confidence. Welcome to our show. It's Sharon Ellison.
Perfect.
It was called The Current Real World. And I'm amazed at how it dovetails with these two cards I want to tell you about. So the basic thing is, having been taught habitual ways of using question statements and predictions, we're not doing it neutrally. We've been trained to do it in the warlike way.
Wow.
And so she says, we believe this power struggle world is the only real one. I have never once heard someone use the term real world to refer to the love and courage many people demonstrate every day. Instead, the real world connotes a harsh, pitiless place where cruelty is truer to our nature than kindness. So then she goes on, but there's a part at the bottom, and I thought this would be a provocative way to go. Recently, I saw a bumper sticker that stopped me in my tracks. Fighting for peace is like screwing for virginity.
Oh, perfect.
When we talk about fighting for peace, our very language reflects our attempt to reach a goal with a process that moves us in the opposite direction.
Wow.
Same for fighting cancer. What a ridiculous approach.
Mm-hmm.
What a ridiculous approach. How about my walk with cancer? What is cancer? What is the dis-ease that's in my body that's being reflected in this cancer?
Well, and I can tell you when I was going through cancer 30 something years ago, I mean, even in the physician's office, they would say, visualize little armies, little Pac-Man, visualize that in your system. And I think now, gosh, what if I would have done, visualized happiness and all of that? Luckily, I had a good outcome, but other people might not. But that wears on you because
it does.
Here's the bottom line. If I'm not a good enough soldier, I will have a bad outcome.
Right. If it's a battle, I could die.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of, this is my walk with cancer. What am I meant to learn from this
Oh,
teacher?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
when we've got the learning, maybe that teacher doesn't need to keep walking with us.
Mhm. Mhm. And so often with cancer, you feel guilty. What did I do?
Do
How
wrong.
how did I
Yes.
cause this? I mean, I was going through cancer while my ex-husband had just gotten home from prison, and I will never forget my cousin came to me and gave me one of these a book and said, "You just didn't handle your stress really well. That's why you got cancer."
Thank you
Oh,
for your help. Next.
yeah. And that did not go away. That was there. Every time I'm
No.
I'm
And
thinking,
again, survival value. Think of how our brain works. Your brain grabs onto the one question you got wrong out of the 20 questions you got right. Your brain grabs onto what is wrong. I screwed it up instead of what all the things that you did done over your entire lifetime that were
sure.
good for your mind, body, spirit.
Well, and one of the things that I was thinking about too, as I was processing our what we might talk about today is, and this goes back to my bullying work. And I think this is really important because one of the questions when somebody comes to me for coaching about bullying, we always talk about the fact of the bullies over there, they're going to behave. You can't change the bullies. But what was it that the bully made you feel about yourself?
Mhm.
What was that and that's the piece I think when we have these difficult conversations is that we can't change what's going on with the other people. Now, corporately and all that stuff, I
Other
mean,
than through ourselves.
uh, and that's where I'm getting to, where
Yeah.
it's like, but I had this conversation and I ended up feeling bad about myself for getting cancer or bad about myself for this and all this. So when we have these difficult conversations at with family at Thanksgiving and all those kind of
Mhm.
things,
Mhm.
it's like, what do I end up feeling about me? And instead of feeling like I'm an adult. I can have my opinion. I can have these
Mhm.
sort of things. I can not not say all the things, but yet say what needs to be said. I can look at
Right.
all these things because we're feeling bad instead of saying, you know what, that person's being kind of a dick right now.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
mean, they're fallible human beings as well. Can we love them where they're at? And if they've said something that stings, to me, what that says for me is I have some kind of Achilles heel around that. They actually are doing me a gift, a service by saying whatever shitty thing they've said that sets off a reaction in me. It's like, okay, somewhere there's a portal that they plugged into. I can look at that. I can heal that for myself. I don't want to be looking at myself as I must be to blame for whatever's going wrong.
And along with it is the biology of it, that the amygdala hijack, that when you
Mhm.
feel threatened, it's going to trigger whether we want it to or not.
Right,
It is automatic. And so
right.
understanding, okay, I'm feeling threatened. My heart's pounding, my cortisol, my pupils are dilating. Wait a minute. Bring this back home. Bring my spirit back because that's what happened.
Yes.
The
Ground
breathing,
myself, put my
ground
feet
myself,
down.
do
Yep.
what needs to do, take a walk.
Wild deck. It's called the Wild Harmonic Deck.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And even the shape of it, look at the shape of it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, there was a part in here because I do a coffee group Tuesday mornings. The question that we had raised on the front end to address this reading toward was, um, what do we need to be thinking about, feeling, and doing now in these tumultuous times? What do we need to be doing to bring ourselves fully to be as the support that we can be in this world right now?
Yeah. Hmm.
So, the 2 cards that were the shadow cards, there's the
Oh yeah.
dimensional of shadow,
Yeah.
which is perfect circle, and there's a part in here where it says, "As as the dimensional expanse falls into denial, the need to defend oneself keeps light out."
Yeah.
How much defensiveness are we running
Oh.
into
Oh
now?
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so it goes on and it says the power of logic used to deny that which it cannot perceive, and the ability of circular thinking to generate a powerful impulse to believe. So, this card warns of the mind's ability to generate ideas that prove each other. So, we get caught in our own proof process. And
Yeah.
then people get very, and here's the word, thereby generating an intense sense of certainty and fooling, even trapping one into their own
Uh,
self reflective misery of justification. And the next sentence I thought was cool. Ideas certainly have their way with me. I like to think I have a clear mind, It is often apparent that I have decided something is a fact based purely on other ideas that say it is so. When these ideas get together, they have a way of taking me over and compelling me into disintegrating behavior.
Yes. The word justification.
Ugh,
We
ugh,
justify, well, I have to not like them because of this. I'm
right.
justified in my behavior. And so that self-fulfilling prophecy is what
Yes.
happens.
There's another piece here
Okay.
with one other card that I think is just so cool. Shadow of Air,
Yeah.
and it's called, get this title, Negation Trance.
Ooh. Ooh.
Negation Trance. As the shadow, we all have shadow, right? Fears,
Mm.
doubts, judgments, all that stuff. As the shadow consumes the interconnected intelligence, logical argument is used to keep all creativity away.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Mic drop.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes. Using ideas to deny possibilities, using the mind to deny even its own mystery. I love this. This card indicates being caught in a pattern of seeing no ideas as valid,
Ah.
all the while not seeing that that is an idea
Yeah.
that lets one see things that way.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I dislike a perspective, or I dislike a person, or a politician, or a thought process, if when I dislike a perspective, I can find myself making arguments against it. Those arguments have a sneaky way of causing me to argue myself out of anything relating to them, even when that may be the very path for me to find my fulfillment on.
Ah. It's like they're having a baby. They're just sitting there. Yeah. When you bring all this stuff to, yes.
Right. How do we go back to what do I believe? These are all the things I'm hearing. Everybody is as vehement as they can be about their what they're saying, but what do I feel if I feel into this?
Yeah.
What's my wisdom telling me?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do think somehow quieting that noise is so on both ends of this spectrum. I mean,
Please and thank you. Yes.
there's so much noise that you can't even really we say the word discern a lot, but you can't even, you know, there are this and this and this and this and this, and
Right.
somewhere along the way there's that.
And it's all said with conviction,
Oh,
which
absolutely.
makes it so much easier. And I think unfortunately many of us have been raised and trained to toe the line.
Mhm.
To go along to get
Sure.
along, to be
Sure.
the good girl, blah, blah. But so when I had that little 82-year-old stamp her foot at me and say, "Just tell us what to do,"
Mm,
I'm like, "Wow, wow." I don't wanna ever get to, well, any age where I don't feel like, "No, I wanna figure out what to do."
mhm.
I have my own discernment.
Well, and I think thinking about generations and that 82-year-old, did she have the opportunities? You know, I came of age in the 70s where that was like the beginning of the women's movement, that beginning of this opportunities, this beginning of opening, and this pendulum swings and swings and swings. And I think we have to figure out for each, each generation has had to find their own path, their own voice, their own way of being
Right.
who they are.
And how cool will it be when we have respect for how each generation chose to do it,
Yeah.
given the parameters around them,
Mhm.
etc.
And
Because again, there's where the shame and blame game comes in. Well, if you guys hadn't screwed this all up, blah blah blah. Hmm.
and I'm a firm believer, everybody's doing the best they can.
Hmm.
Everybody gets up in the morning and I always say when I was a leader, I would say, nobody comes to work saying, I'm going to leave an instrument inside a patient, which happens. And
Hmm.
I would say they come to work wanting to do good and and everybody has ups and downs and everybody has runs of bad times that they're not at their best game. But if my vision, if I'm assuming positive intent that they're coming here wanting to do a good job, they're the more likelihood that they will than they won't. Than if I come like, well, they're just a bunch
And
of
also,
grumblers. Yeah.
right. And then we can look at the environment that we've created for them to work in.
Yeah. Can we distill down some of these key points that we just talked about? What I heard you say was that we were products of the generations that raised
Mm-hmm.
us,
Mm-hmm.
but offering grace to the other generations.
Yes.
The key point that I made earlier with Bob was that I was ready to jump on him for something that I paused. I took the
You
pause.
did. You did.
I did.
Yay.
I did, and that was conscious. Now,
Mm-hmm.
and I think one of the other key points we talked about was our amygdala fires. We jump in without going, wait a minute, deep cleansing breaths. Deep cleansing breaths.
And we have opportunity there. Even if you jump in and something starts spewing, you still have opportunity every second there to go, wait a minute, I'm not going to finish that sentence. Let me back up here. Let me take a few breaths. Let me try again.
And I think if we talk about nothing, it's about breath.
Breath.
To me, breath is like the healing balm.
No, watch the method that you choose to, if you have an outcome in mind, practice using a method that's conducive to that outcome.
Yeah.
Fighting for peace is not conducive.
Yeah.
Yelling at somebody to get them to understand is not conducive.
Mm-hmm.
Having the Thanksgiving argument with Uncle Albert is not conducive. It just,
And
so
what
can we hear the messages, even if what we're intended to get out of that is the opposite of a particular message? If we're not even open to hearing that message, we can't process through to how do I get this to serve me?
and how do we get past, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't like you. I don't like anything about you. Go.
La
La,
la 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 la
la, la,
la.
la, 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 la. Yeah,
Mhm.
that was what I was visualizing when you were doing that reading, is that we get to this. Nope, nope, not even.
Nope.
Talk to the hand.
Yep.
So,
Yes.
what do we offer folks when they're in that situation where they're trapped in the, I can't even see it, the tiny little idiot bit positive about this?
Right. Please start with the breath.
Yeah.
Please start with the breath. Just take a breath. Because what that will do is it softens you. And when you're hardened over, Brene Brown talks about this. When you've got the armor
Yeah.
on,
Yes. Yes.
nothing can get in there. The good stuff included. What's going to serve you included. It can't get past the armor.
Hmm.
So if you can allow the armor to drop a bit, okay, so tell me what you're thinking. And even if it's Uncle Albert and he goes, oh, these damn kids these days, blah, 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 blah. Can you look past the bluster? Can
Hmm.
you hear the message?
Yeah.
What's the message that's coming from him? I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling like I no longer matter. I'm feeling like my
Oh.
lifetime of experience is being dissed. What's really being said here?
Oh. Oh. Let that sink in. Having this understanding of ourselves, our own mindset, and what we've got going in, and how does that interact with what they've got coming out?
Love it.
Folks, subscribe,
Yes.
watch for us. We got more coming, and we're glad you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Keep in mind that the key word there is thanks.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
right.
Bye.
So thanks for sticking around to the end and listening to the Common Ground conversation. I'm sure you gained something from that. The Chief Hot Mess Officer, say that fast. I want you to think about taking the hot mess assessment, which is attached here at the bottom.